Hello! Today I'm going to be doing a book review of the book that I'm now considering my favorite book that I've read so far in 2018, and that is The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. If you didn't watch my May wrap-up, you might not have seen me completely gush about how much I loved this book, and I said in that video that I wanted to do a full review because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about, so here I am doing a full review because I have a lot of things I want to talk about. This series is set in a world where there are things called fifth seasons, and basically what this means is that when a season occurs, the world completely comes to an end, and the people that live in the world have to figure out how to survive and make it until the season comes to an end. There have been many seasons in the past, and most of the time they only last a few years or maybe a couple decades, but this series kicks off with what is possibly the worst season that has ever happened, and it basically signals the end of the world for good. So I don't really want to say much more than that because this is a book that you really need to go into and kind of let it unfold yourself. You need to discover the world along with the book. You need to figure out what's going on as you read. You don't want to know too much about it going into it. This is a very slow burning book. If you're used to the epic high fantasy with lots of action and adventure, this is something completely different. The author really takes her time to unfold the world and to develop the world and these characters and make you understand the magic as you read. It's not all given to you right up front. You have to read basically the whole book to really understand what this world entails and exactly how this magic system works. As you read and get to know the characters, you also read, get to know the world, get to know the magic system, and by the end of it, it's so satisfying to kind of have figured out exactly what's going on throughout the story. The writing in this book is absolutely spectacular. It's rich and vivid, and it draws you into the story, and it makes you want to keep reading. Even though it's a slower paced book, the writing makes you want to keep going. There are 3 different perspectives in this book. 2 of them are written in third person, and 1 of them is written in second person. And while I'm very used to reading third person point of view, I don't love second person quite as much. In the past, I've tended to not really enjoy the books that are written in second person, so it was a huge surprise to me when the second person point of view in this story ended up being my favorite, and that is a true testament to this author's skill because I really don't like second person, but it was my favorite POV in this book, and I thought it was so excellently done, and I loved it. Without a doubt, one of the strongest aspects of this book is the character development and the way that the characters are revealed to you. Each character is so well fleshed out and vibrant and vivid, and they're so real. The author interweaves the differing point of views in a way that allows each character to grow and develop, and seeing how the characters come together in the end, how the stories intersect by the end of the book, is absolutely brilliant. It was really unexpected because I thought I had it figured out, and then bam, she shocked me, and I was so pleasantly surprised with how I felt about these characters and this book overall that I just sat in my car and went, wow, that just happened. She just did that, and it was amazing. It was so well done. It's always a huge plus for me when a book can completely surprise me, and N.K. Jemisin definitely threw a curveball that I did not see coming and completely surprised me, which is probably why I think it might be my favorite book that I've read so far this year. My only complaint about this book is how slow-paced it is in the beginning. It definitely takes a little while to get into because the author takes a lot of time to set up the story and set up the world and set up the characters, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about it at first because it was taking so long for me to get really invested in the characters. It's a book that you really have to give about 50 to 100 pages before you really get into the meat of the story, but once you get past that initial hump, it's so worth it. Like reading those more difficult 50 to 100 pages there at the beginning, the reward is fantastic because it's such a good book. And while there isn't a lot of action in the book, towards the end there is a lot more action that really makes the story fly by, and I'm so glad that I pushed through and continued on because now it's my favorite book that I've read so far this year. And I don't know how many times I've said that in this video, but it's true. It's still true. After 12 minutes of filming, still my favorite book I've read this year. Overall, if you like fantasy and you want something that's a little bit different, a little diverse, and definitely not your typical adult fantasy book, this is a book that you need to read. I cannot wait to read the second and third installments in this trilogy. While it doesn't necessarily leave off on a big cliffhanger, it definitely leaves off in a different kind of way, and I'm very interested to see how the rest of this story is going to play out in the later books because I have no idea where it's gonna go. I really loved this. I don't know how many more times I have to say it. Please go read it. If fantasy is your thing and you haven't picked this book up yet, what are you doing? So those are my thoughts on the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. Obviously, I really loved it and I want everybody to read it now. Let me know down in the comments if you have read the 5th season and what you thought about it. Do you have similar opinions to mine? Did you love it as much as I do? Or did you not love it so much? I'd really love to know that as well down in the comments. Also, if you have completed the entire trilogy and you think I need to pick up book 2 immediately, let me know that as well, because I need to know if I need to just jump into book 2 or if I need to let it sit for a while. And just as a warning, obviously don't post anything spoilery in the comments. We don't want people to be spoiled if they haven't read the book yet. If you want to talk about something spoilery, make sure you give a good enough warning so that our friends aren't spoiled. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you again very soon. Bye.